Thank you, Mr. Chair. Zoning permits, 32, yes, it's the first one I'm looking at this today, 25 building permits, and code enforcement should be around our average in the 40s, 45, so we're in good stead there. I don't have a calculation right now on how many new homes. We're staying fairly busy, and we're staying fairly busy concerning, we're going to be very busy with your upcoming items concerning the solar panels. So I'll discuss that in more detail later.
Any questions for Pete at this point? Okay. Agenda item number 5, consider approving the 2019 Shiawassee County Apportionment Report as prepared by the Equalization Department and approve the apportionment of taxes in terms of millage rates to be spread on taxable value.
Support.
Motion, do I have support?
Gary said so. Oh, he's moved. I
I
moved.
made.
Okay.
Sorry.
I moved. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're good.
We all set now, clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion. Pete?
The apportionment report is, remember you folks fill out a 4029 form saying how much you're going to levy in the summer. Well, at the end of September, we get them from all the local units for what they're going to levy on the winter. We pull all those millages together, including the taxable value that we have on the equalization roll, and present it in that way. We do not do the actual calculation of how much is going to be collected, because the apportionment report is only to solidify the taxable value. Everybody's on the same page, and that everybody's on the same page with millages. The Board of Commissioners being the governing body over the local units in this regard. The apportionment report is for you to say that it's okay to spread those millages across those taxable values.
Okay, any questions for
Antiquated
Pete?
law.
Any questions for Pete? Okay, all in favor of moving this forward to Wednesday's committee of the whole, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 6, consider approving a decommissioning agreement between Assembly Solar LLC and Shiawassee County to comply with requirement in its special use permit. Do I have a motion?
So I would support that.
Okay. Well, for discussion now, Pete?
The 3 items that I've laid out before you is the decommissioning plan. The decommissioning agreement is essentially the county's financial agreement that they will levy bonds in order to enact, or surety agreements in order to enact this decommissioning plan. So in the event that the solar farm fails, an insurance company will pay for the cost of decommissioning. What you have in those documents is the estimate of what it takes to pull them out of the ground and remove them, what their salvage value will be, and then that remainder by 125%, additional 25% if the county is to incur any legal costs and administrative costs in order to get essentially the property taken back to its original agricultural use. So I do have some numbers here. Real quickly, overall, we're looking at about, for all the, essentially the surety agreement is going to be about $2.6 million and some change. And that's, again, that's the figure you arrive at when you add the 25 for administration and also look at the salvage value of materials. My understanding is the solar farm is looking to start as early as next week once all these agreements are in place. So this is the plan. Legal counsel has went through the plans and the agreement. We may have one additional resolution type form for you to look at, the motion you look at Thursday.
So this is for all 3, for Solar 1, Solar 2, and the substation, correct? Okay, does anyone have any questions for Pete?
Do you think that's enough money, or you guys talk about so many years from now, or whatever it costs? I mean, I just throwing it out there. So
Well, we could have a third-party engineer review it. I've seen some others. I'm not going to attest to being a knowledgeable engineer. I think we're within the ballpark of what others are doing.
Is this a projected 20-year or 25-year?
I can't recall right offhand.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah.
How long does this last, or if it's maintained on a yearly basis, is it indefinite? I mean,
I would assume so. Yeah, I think there's a 5-year cost for us to relook at the costs of it, in case there's any changes in the overall economy and such.
We haven't had time to read through all of this, but
No.
on page 15 of the project, Solar One project, and I'm sure it's the same for others, there's a sort of schedule there of percentage of decommissioning risk, and it says out through 25 plus years, so
Oh,
it's 100% decommissioning risk in 25 years or more, so.
And what we're learning about these on the tax assessor side is that there's a lot of short and long-lived items on this equipment. The pilings that they're gonna start putting in, they're gonna put in about 15,000 over the next month or so. And that's only for a phase of the project. Those, essentially, it's an I-beam that's being driven into the ground. They use a special piece of equipment to vibrate it into the ground, and it gets to a certain pressure point. Those are long-lived items. Those are gonna be there for a long time. They could be there for 100 years. It's the equipment that's gonna be mounted to those that is gonna change over time. So yes, after the 25-year of the first phase of the project or first type of solar panels that go in 25 years, there could be another type of panel that's put in place that most likely will hopefully be more efficient and less obtrusive than what's going to be there now.
Are you gonna be the inspector kind of out there, or anybody to go kind of look after it, or, I mean, I just thought I'd ask that.
Well, we're not gonna have them pull 15,000 building permits.
Yeah.
Okay, for each pile. We've met with the developer a couple different times. We also had a meeting with all the other agencies, including drain, road, everybody else involved. We're gonna do it by parcel, so however, each parcel will have a building permit on it. Our inspectors, they're not gonna be able to see a footing like they would in a normal house or a pole barn. Look down the hole, looks good, or get the water out. That's not the way it's gonna be. So a third-party engineer is going to give us the data from those pilings being driven in. The rest of everything else is essentially a bolt-on type capacity. It's a unit that comes in. They're actually even looking for burn permits for cardboard and the type of packaging these come in, because it's really kind of get those I-beams in place, attach it up there. There's gonna be a lot of underground and such for the electrical inspector, but we're gonna rely very heavily on third-party engineers on this
Okay.
and verifying that, where they're going to attest that it's being put in place correctly.
Sounds good, I just.
Our office will be handling it. There's no plumbing or mechanical permits, just electrical and building.
So your office, the drain office, who else is gonna be out there on that? This got brought up at the last planning commission. Who else is gonna be out there?
Well, the
watching?
environmental health will be concerning soil erosion and such, but it'll just be in the areas that they flatten that the health department's gonna have concern over that. Casey Elliott's handling that. The drain commissioner does need to issue drain permits for them to get started. I do not know where that's at. Road commission, essentially these aren't gonna be commercial driveway permits that are gonna, have 200 vehicles in and out a day, so I imagine those will be fairly basic types of permitting. Unlike a wind turbine that's gonna need all kinds of changes at intersections, these are just coming in on a flatbed and delivered.
Okay. Any other questions for Pete?
Like a win-win situation, I hope.
So I just have a question.
Yes.
And this is on everyone's mind, and I don't mean to sound greedy here, but how soon do we start seeing an increase in revenue coming in from the development out there?
The first bit that you'll see will be under your 2020 collection. Whatever is put in place before December 31st of 2020 will be accessible and taxable. It will go in under construction in progress, therefore there'll be no depreciation when you collect in 2021 on those particular items. But right now, rough estimates as far as the amount of development, you're gonna get some clearing, you're gonna get some concrete pads for the substation, and you're gonna get these piles that are in place. So it's not gonna be a ton for 2020, but 2021, by December 31st of 2020, they should all be in place. Now, is there a number I can attach to those yet? No. Not until the assessor gets all the detail. We'll help them as part of equalization, And again, a lot of people are talking about these short and long-lived items. There's gonna be some number crunching. As soon as I have an idea, we'll make sure. The building department stands to make some revenue off of this. We're a self-sustaining fund, so we're gonna have to appropriately charge for that. But given the time it's gonna take for our office staff, we're not gonna back off and making sure that we're not gonna go in the hole on it.
Any other questions before we take the vote on this? So, yes, like I said, not everyone has had a chance to look this over. So this is just for moving it forward to Wednesday. And will you be here Wednesday if we have questions?
I will try to be. I'm gonna say I doubt I can, but
Or
I'll
Thursday,
do one of that. I'll make one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll continue to work with Tim Perone, your legal counsel, and he'll do all this, but we'll make sure we get some sort of resolution or something so we can make an appropriate motion and carry forward.
Okay, so moving this forward, we have motion support, we've had discussion, any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, moves on to Wednesday's committee of the whole.
If I can add one more thing,
Yes.
the lead project managers both will be here on Thursday as well.
Okay. And they're the ones that are always before the planning commission.
Yes.
right? Okay. Agenda item number 7. Consider approving 3 farmland agreements for Mr. Joseph Besaw for properties located in Hazelton Township, parcel number 004-01-100-008, parcel number 004-03-200-004, and parcel number 004-11-200-009.
Support?
Motion and support, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, moves on to Wednesday. Agenda item number 8, other agenda items. Anyone have anything? Okay. Agenda item number 9, call to the public. Has anyone submitted slips?
No.
Anybody in the public would like to speak? Hearing none. Agenda item 10, adjournment. Meeting is adjourned.
Start here in a few minutes for
Good job.
finance. Good job.
Yes.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
Okay, we'll call Finance and Administration Committee meeting order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First call to the public. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak at this time? If not, we'll move on. Item number 4, consider county holidays. You have a sheet in front of you. I think that's the same county holidays that were last year, so I entertain a motion for their approval. Moved.
We may be missing.
Yeah, well, that's okay, they work.
I count 13 here.
There's 14.
There's 14, which
Oh,
seems
I
like
get
a
it.
lot.
Thanksgiving Day after, I get it. No, that's good. There's 14.
Oh, there's 2 for November, yeah. Thanksgiving
It's a whole lot.
Day,
We're the wage study guy, but that's what we do.
yeah. Most of them are around 10 or 11.
13.
I know, I read the same.
What always, there's.
Yeah.
So we're approving this as is, or do we
Yeah.
have the ability to change it, or is this it?
Well, now some of them are built, some of the schedules built into some of the contracts.
Yeah.
Well, when we did the wage study, we did take this into account, so
Yeah.
this is.
Actually, this is one more than most have. A lot of them don't observe Columbus Day.
Right. Correct.
Other than that, 13 is state, there's 13 and a lot of others too.
So approving it's just a formality then?
Doesn't have to be.
Well, more can change if they want.
Well, that was my
You're the
question.
board.
That was my question.
I'm just saying that to some extent it's in some contracts. So they would have it off until their contract could be changed when they go up for negotiation. But
So we could not change it then countywide, it would have to be dependent on contracts, which.
the contracts would have to wait for, if the contracts that addressed it.
Yeah, if we decided to change which days we gave off, we would have to go through this, our systems and our contracts, and it would have to be phased in for contractual, whoever had contractual arrangements.
So you're saying it's just too much bother to.
I think so.
More
That's
doesn't
3
think it's too
weeks
much
off.
bother than it's not. I don't know, you guys wrong?
I just figured because they were there when we did the wage study, they've been there since I got on the board. Yeah, it's more, but in theory, they get paid more if we didn't have the one extra day, which we want to. As it was a factor.
I mean, that is basically 3 weeks off paid.
These are federal holidays, most of them, right? So
The
you
day
don't
after
have-
Thanksgiving is a federal holiday?
I said most of them, so that would mean banks and mail are closed. I understand the day after Thanksgiving is not, but the rest of them, I think, are days that postal service doesn't run, so.
And Columbus Day. I don't believe Columbus Day.
A lot of people are banning Columbus Day because of the negative connotations that.
Yeah, I got mail on Columbus Day.
And Good Friday's not.
Right.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Yep, it's been moved and seconded, has it?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So why are we
Okay.
talking about it?
Okay. Is there any other discussion? This was on Wednesday. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
2-1, passes. Item number 5. Need a motion to consider adopting resolution number 19-11-13, supporting the passage of proposed legislation, House Bills 4937 and 4938, and Senate Bills 504 and 505, to implement 4-year terms for county commissioners in Michigan. Is there a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? With no second, the motion dies for lack of a second. Okay. Other agenda items?
No discussion, any different?
Oh, you have discussion, you want to have, yeah, you can have discussion on, yeah, it just isn't a vote.
I just wanted, are they working on it, or they're just already done
Yes,
it?
they are.
No,
working
the
on it.
bills have been introduced.
Oh, they're just working then, huh?
Well, the bills have been introduced,
Mhm.
but they have not passed the Senate and they have not passed the House. But there's been discussion on these bills for quite a while, and these bills have come up in the past. So,
And we don't wanna support it, is that it?
well,
That's
it's
my-
not,
There's strong support for it.
yeah, there might be,
What we can-
there might be strong support in the House of Representatives or House and then our Senate. It doesn't really matter to me, but I'm not doing it.
Well, my understanding, so 4-year terms would differ from our 2. But isn't there another provision in there that doesn't allow you to declare your party? Or is that been stripped?
No, that's not,
That is not there.
that's not part of this, and it's not tied.
Why are they even talking about this in Lansing? Like, it's 2 years, it's always been 2 years. let the people decide. This is government deciding to give ourselves extra time on board. I don't
Well,
like that.
Well, I think it still has to be voted on by the people, doesn't it?
What does the?
Why are we talking?
Just because
You-
we changed the
I think-
Constitution.
I think the legislature could install this.
Yeah,
They
this-
installed other ones.
Yeah. Yeah, my take is that they can change this for counties.
Right, whether we do or not, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And any more discussion on this topic? It dies for lack of support. Okay, other agenda items. Call the public, anyone who wishes to speak at this time. If not, meeting adjourned.